This is the book of Isaiah 13 and verse 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Infinite praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. So, getting into this lesson, you could tell by the title what it's going to be going into. Yeah, it's a spirit of lightning just flashed. Yeah, it's a bit of a thunderstorm. I was actually going to do a walk and talk, but I see a spirit drew me back in order to hit this quick sit down. You know, I like the walk and talk format because due to back pain, I find it hard to sit for prolonged periods. But, you know, ultimately, you know, so if you see me doing this from time to time, it's because I'm kind of like, you know, massaging my back. But, you know, spirit is there, be able to get through it, Lord's will. All right, so what I just read was Isaiah 13 and 19 all the way down to 22. And those verses are describing the end of Babylon. All right, Babylon in the Holy Bible is referring to America. Okay, Babylon is in the Holy Bible, prophetically speaking, all right, when it's dealing with end time prophecy and the prophecies of utter destruction, you know, it's talking about this place, the United States. All right. And we know that because, you know, a lot of times the so-called scholars, the Bible scholars, which they don't know a damn thing most of the time. They know a couple things, but when it comes to end time prophecy, they don't have a clue. They'll say that, you know, this is talking about the ancient kingdom of Babylon, which is in modern day Iraq. All right. But when you deal with how that kingdom was taken down, all right, it was taken down by the grandfather of Cyrus the Great, which was King Astyages, also called Darius the Mede. All right. And it was a surgical takedown. All right. The elites were taken out. So it wasn't utterly obliterated like how the scriptures describe this, that wild beasts shall lie there and no, it will never be inhabited to generation. You still have people that live in the land where Babylon was, all right, which is Iraq. This Babylon that's being referred to is a place that's never going to be inhabited, like Sodom and Gomorrah. You don't have anybody living where Sodom and Gomorrah was right now. Nobody dwells there, right? That's an area right around the Dead Sea, all right? And it's all spiritual that is called the Dead Sea, okay? But point being, this is going to be as when the Lord overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? So it's going to be a destruction that's incomparable to anything else. Well, it is comparable to Sodom and Gomorrah, but amongst that level of destruction, all right, these other kingdoms falling, all right, is going to pale in comparison to how this kingdom is going to fall, all right, to the point where only these desert creatures that were described, you know, it says, you know, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Okay, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Yeah, and those Arabians, they're known to be able to dwell in some very harsh climates, but even they won't be able to dwell in the aftermath of what's going to happen to America. All right, from sea to shining sea, the whole continent of North America is going to be burned to a crisp. All right, and when you look at it, when you look at like trade things and like that, you know, trade matters. You know, essentially Mexico and Canada are a part of it. All right, are a part of, you know, Babylon the Great. It may not be, you know, the United States so called, but really for trade purposes, you have I forget what it's called, but it was pretty much an agreement to where Mexico, the United States, and Canada, in terms of trade, are all on one accord. All right, which the elites run all of it anyways. All right, so the whole mass of North America is going to be destroyed. Okay, so that's why it says, "But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there," because the wild beasts are going to be the ones that are going to be inhabiting this place. All right, so and we can see why. Okay, we can see why. This is the land of many idols. This is the land where wickedness is pushed on the highest levels. This is a land of shamelessness. This is a land of debauchery, of filth, of sin being glorified. All right, the Baconator. All right, you know, harlotry, women being the most prideful and wicked women. Women here are so evil and wicked that you have a whole movement of men that actually decided, which that's all the Lord stirring things up, and it's honestly, it just makes sense because these guys are tired of the American woman. So they decided to go to other countries and find women that have been raised in the culture of other countries who know how to serve a man just to get away from the so-called black woman. And really, most of these American women are the same because they all want to be like Beyonce. They idolize because Jake always sets the trends, especially Judah. So these wicked Judite women, the rest of the nations, the rest of the northern tribe women, the Latina women, the which the Latinos are uh, the northern tribes of the kingdom, of the nation of Israel. Okay, so you have the other tribes and the other nations. They worship and they follow women like Beyonce, Meg Thee Stallion, and things like that. So most of these American women are pretty much through. So it's so wicked and foul here that men would rather go to other countries, get a passport, and find a wife elsewhere, because this is a land of harlotry, man. And it's pretty clear, the Lord made it manifest that this is that harlot, that rides upon that beast, the beast being NATO, all right, with the EU included, all right, NATO and the EU together. America uses those nations and that power structure in order to rain down hell upon earth. All right. And when you look at it, the nations are tired now. All right. Even those nations are tired of America using that power and that influence and that hegemony over the rest of them. All right. So, it's pretty clear, though, where you have the harlot, the harlot that's riding upon the beast. America is clearly the harlot. And look at the culture of America is harlot culture, whore culture, glorifying women that are not shameful at all, that are prideful, that hate men. You see? So that's another reason why this place is going to be annihilated, man. It's never going to be dwelt in again. All right. Social media and things like that, man. I can't wait for the Lord to take down the internet. I'm sure you brothers out there that have the house of faith feel the same way. I can't wait for this kingdom to be taken out, for Jacob's trouble, because it's going to bring all of these people, not just the women, but all of these people that are all into America and that love this place, are up this harlot's ass. All right, they're going to be humbled in that day. All right, they're going to have to shut their ass up and behold prophecy coming to pass, and just, the scripture says that wickedness is very timorous, meaning that, they're going to tremble in fear knowing that their judgment is coming, because when you do wickedness, you have a guilty conscience. You can't sleep. You see? Well, this Jeremiah 51. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the 30th. Yeah, Jeremiah 51 and 30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Right. So the mighty men of Babylon, the Marines, the Navy, America's military force is looking weak as hell. And that's why they got to implement this draft thing. Why would they be changing the age to 26? You see, Americans are so stupid, though. They just don't think nothing of that. Why of all times right now would they be altering the age for the military draft, with all the tensions with Russia, with all the tensions with Ukraine, with all the tensions with Israel? And this is the thing: when summertime comes, these Babylonians, they tune it out. They're into their sports and their vanity and their party life. You see, so they completely get tuned out with prophecy and what's really going on in this world. All right. And the elites know they can get all types of wickedness set up, for the remainder of the year, but just, pacify the people with bread and circuses during the summer, UFC fights, boxing matches. What else do you have? Where the NBA is out right now. But, parties and entertainment and artists and concerts and things like that, they use these things, these bread and circuses to distract the people. All right. To pacify the people, to make them docile, man. So when the time comes and they've dropped the hammer down, these people they're like a fattened calf ready for the slaughter, man. All right. So the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. You see, and what do they have in their ranks now? It says that they have become as women, because women are what? Are timid, are afraid, are helpless. You see, and not only that, but you have actually these men turning into women, getting actual surgeries to turn themselves into females, man, which you can't actually do. You're just a mutilated man. You're just a mutilated man or a woman if you go the other route, like that old Outcast song, man. He said they go the other route, turn each other out. Like, niggas are just sick, man. You see, back then in the 90s, they used to be able to say some raw shit and get away with it on the mic without getting canceled. But now that you got the internet cancel culture, if you don't go along with the get along, they'll cancel you, which now it's like so much cultural overstimulation to where we're getting past the point of even cancel culture, like now it's so many things going on that people can't even pay attention long enough to cancel somebody, you know? But this is Jeremiah 51 and 31. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to shew the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. Right. So you're going to have, basically that's symbolizing their end. All right, because when that destruction comes, you're gonna have these different news stations. They're gonna be broadcasting and saying, how the missiles are coming. You're gonna have different intelligence agency behind the scenes, letting it know, bringing it to the top. By then, they're already gonna be in their bunkers. All right, but when that time comes, we know that it's not just gonna be the missiles. Most importantly, it's gonna be Yahweh Shai and the heavenly host cracking the clouds. So while they're getting ready to hide away, they're going to be terrified, but they're also going to see the Lord saving his elect. And that's when they know they're going to be through. So they're going to try to hide up in them caves. That's why it says in Revelation, they're going to hide up in them bunkers and whatnot. But in Revelation, it says this. See if I can find it real quick. Yeah, this is Revelation 6, and let's start with 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman. All right, this is, you could use this to represent that king of Babylon, and his men, his nobles, right? And every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, right? How are they going to hide themselves? Well, they already have those bunkers. You got Cheyenne Mountain. That's a major one that we always bring up. You got military installations. You got deep underground military bases, DUMBs, D-U-M-B. All right, that's what they called. And they do all types of experiments and filth and sacrifices down there. But this is what you get when you give the wicked, the most wicked nation on earth, which is Esau, Edom. This is what you get when you give them access to, all the resources. This is what they do. Okay, instead of trying to make the earth a better place, what do? They make it a filthy place. They defile the earth, right? And then they try to blame it on humanity. Well, mankind is the problem. And then after this devil does all this, he tries to pin the blame on mankind, on everybody. Meanwhile, he's the one that's fucking everything up. But then he'll turn around and say, well, no, we need to carbon footprint everybody because, these people are, the humankind, mankind is The carbon is too much. You mean to tell me the Lord didn't make it to where, you know, that mankind can thrive on earth, that there's not enough resources? But that's Esau striving against his maker once again, because you're saying that the Heavenly Father didn't make the earth to where it's sustainable for all the people. There's enough resources on the earth, but it's just that you devils are in rulership, and you don't make that possible for everybody to eat. You thrive off of people suffering. You thrive off of people starving. You thrive off of the resources of these different nations, primarily us. Okay. And you use our spirits, you use us, you use our salt, the sauce that Jake has, the energy that we bring to the table, and you use that to get people to follow this way. All right. So this is like Hellenization. This is Hellenization on a global level. All right. And what are they going to do? They're going to force the people to get that chip. They're going to pressure them, right? Which is the mark of the beast. So it says, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right, the great day of his wrath, which is who? The wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is the book of Amos 9:2. Though they dig into hell, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Right. So, dig into hell, meaning what? That doesn't mean that, and that shows you that hell is not talking about a place where you go to burn forever. Because why would the Lord, be able to, be talking about how he can take you from there, for judgment? If you're already in hell and you're being judged, why does the Lord need to take you from it? Because it's talking about being underground, the grave, under the earth. Okay, because those bunkers was really, it was spiritual when you think about it. Those bunkers are pretty much caskets, man, coffins, big glorified coffins that you devils are laying in. And when the Lord comes back, y'all gonna get it, man. But you're not gonna get put to death. You're just gonna be in a state of death, and you're gonna be in a state of being tortured, all right, for 1,000 years, dealing with you elites. All right. So those bunkers that you got set up, that's the tomb of your own burial, okay? That you're being set up in. So you're running to the tomb of your own burial, as it is written in Sirach, the 21st chapter. But it says, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Back in Revelation 6:17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? All right, back in Amos 9:2, though they dig into hell, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. See, and when Leviathan bites you, there ain't gonna be no nibble. That ain't even gonna be equivalent to like a shark bite, a flesh wound. No, if Leviathan bites you, that means your whole base is gonna be in shambles. All right, that means Leviathan could take a bite out of a city. All right, that's how big Leviathan is. All right, and ferocious. Okay, that's the Lord's pet. All right, Leviathan, Leviathan. All right, so we got that. Let's go back to Jeremiah 51. So no matter where, the point being though, no matter where they hide, no matter where they try to go, the Lord is going to search them out, dealing with you elites of Edom. Jeremiah 51 and 32. And that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. Yeah, and that all represents what? This place going down. Okay, the men of war being affrighted. Why? Because when the missiles come, it doesn't matter how strong of a soldier you are, when the missiles come and you're about to meet your maker, and you're about to be put to death and die that horrible death, and you see, and the more fearful thing is also going to be them seeing the elect go up, and also seeing Yahweh shine the heavenly host. Like all of this is going to be happening at once, and they're going to know that the power that made heaven and earth, all right, Alayawan Kwanah Shemayim Wa Aratzazar, which means the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, all right, that they're going to know that the power, the possessor of heaven and earth, the creator of heaven and earth and the universe and the cosmos is the one that's responsible, that's bringing these missiles upon them. He's the one that sets you up to be destroyed. They're going to know that when the missiles are coming. They're going to know that when death is looming over them. They're going to know that when their impending doom is right before them. All right, so that's another reason why the men are going to be affrighted, okay, seeing that judgment coming. Jeremiah 51:33, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai of hosts, the power of Israel. Yeah, he's the power of Israel, not of all the nations. Okay, so it says, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of harvest shall come. Yeah, you're meant to be threshed, and you're going to be reaped. And you know the harvest is the people. All right, and it's the grim reaper. The real grim reaper is Yahweh Shai. You know, they always paint the grim reaper as a demon. All right, as some, you know, hooded skeleton looking dude, you know, going around, and when people die, that's when he shows up. But Yahweh Shai is the real grim reaper. He's the real one that's going to be bringing you that death. All right, so it says Jeremiah 51:34. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. And who is the modern day king of Babylon? Who is the modern day Nebuchadnezzar? Esau, Edom. All right, the elites. All right, how have they crushed me? He hath made me an empty vessel, right, by taking us into captivity. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. And the thing is that most of these people, you ask them, even people in the world, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that this is Babylon. You know, people will say, oh, it's Babylon. It's Babylon. You know, even in Long Island, you know, for a while, the Lord had me out there preaching in Babylon. The reason why they call that part of Long Island Babylon was because of the debauchery that happened. So they already knew. And it was also, at one point, it was called South Huntington, but they changed it to Babylon. You know, I learned about the history from preaching out there. Certain dudes came up and broke it down for me, you know, because I would comment on how this was Babylon, you know, but, you know, it's spiritual that they would have the pride is, you know, out here, there's a lot of Edomites out here, even though now it's like getting more to an even playing field of Jakes, because Jake is coming up. So you got a lot of Jakes out here in Long Island too. You got a lot of Levites. You got a lot of Judites. You got a lot of the northern tribes for sure, and a lot of these neighborhoods. But point being, you know, Babylon. You know, Babylon is America. All right, America is Babylon the Great, and this is that land of confusion. This is that land of debauchery. So when you talk to regular everyday people, they're beginning to figure out that this is Babylon. All right. And if that's the case, what was ancient Babylon? Ancient Babylon was a place where the Israelites were in captivity, specifically the Southern Kingdom, which are being referred to as the Jews, which today would be your so-called Black American, so-called West Indian, and so-called Haitian. All right. Those tribes are the ones that went into captivity in Babylon. All right. But in Jeremiah 50, it also mentions that. You know what? I'm gonna grab it, because this is the place where all the tribes went into captivity. Jeremiah 50:33, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, which represents the all 12 tribes, were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause. Right, he's going to judge on our behalf, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Right, when you go into that word disquiet, you know, pretty much it deals with, you know, confounding. You know, if I'm not mistaken, if a brother want to pull it up in the Hebrew, I don't remember the exact word, but basically it deals with putting, you know, pretty much, you know, putting them in a state of disarray. All right, putting them in a state of confusion. All right, Jeremiah in a state of distress. All right, Jeremiah 51:34. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon. Right. So the same way you put us in captivity, put us through hell. Now it's your time to go through hell. Now it's your time to suffer. All right. That's why you got a lot of these Edomites complaining, talking about they can't make no money, can't get no jobs. Why is that? Because this is your this is your turn. All right. The curses, as pursuant to Deuteronomy 30:7, the curses that were once upon us, the Lord's people, the so-called Black, Latino, Native American man, now is going upon you Edomites. All right. You crackers are going through the same things that we went through. All right. Except the Lord made us to be able to endure those things. You are frail and weak. That's why you use slave labor to build up your kingdom. All right. Because you couldn't do it yourself. You needed us. At the end of the day, you wouldn't be shit without us, man. All right. You used us. The Lord gave us into your hand. All right. But now the time is coming that we're coming up. All right. Jeremiah 51:35. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. And that's what we're saying. You know, may the Lord judge. It says in 2 Thessalonians, the first chapter, it is righteous. Let me see if I could grab it. All right. The righteous thing with the Lord to recompense tribulation to those that trouble you. All right. Let's see. Here we go. 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. Right. And how did you trouble us? By putting us in a captivity. Yep, distress. There you go. The water. That's the word for disquiet from Jeremiah 51. It's H7264. And it says, tremble, quake, rage, quiver, be agitated, be excited. Right. Be distressed, be perturbed. See, disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So the Lord is going to render that judgment, that vengeance upon them. And to you who are troubled, rest with us. When the Lord, Yahweh Shai, shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Right. So what is that talking about? That's talking about the judgment that's going to come upon those that have come against the Lord's people, specifically his elect, because even the masses of our people, they come against us the most. All right. Jeremiah 51:34. Therefore, 36. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will plead thy cause and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. Right. When that fire comes, it's going to dry everything up. All right. It's going to, remember, this place is going to be turned into a desert by the way of those ICBMs. And that's going to be the Lord pleading our cause. That's going to be the Lord judging on our behalf. All right. Based off us, him putting a spirit on us to put up the supplication and begging for this place to be taken down. So for you Jakes out there that you love America, you want to go to the basketball game, the baseball games, the football games, and live it up. To you, this is the best. This is the pinnacle of life. This is the pinnacle of society. This is the pinnacle of existence. You've been sold a lie, all right, and you believed it, all right. You've been sold a lie to get you to turn against your maker and follow a nation that is completely against the Heavenly Father and His Son. All right, so if you're into this place, when the tables turn and when things go down and this place goes down, you're gonna have to. A lot of you Jakes, you're gonna have to keep the same energy. Some may repent. We know some will repent according to the scriptures, but that's a very small number in comparison to those that are going to be destroyed, because they're going to love this place so much to the point where they're not going to be able to walk away from the life that they made here. All right, and that's why they're going to get that chip. That's why they're going to get that implantable device, because they're not going to be able to walk away from the goodies and the treats and the rewards and the little gifts of being here in Babylon. Because you could actually, you could make money here. You could actually, have a life here, to an extent, you see. But really, it's not real life. But you get what I'm saying, that in that worldly sense of how they look at it, they're able to, make some money. They may have started a business. They may got a good government job, or they may be an accountant, or they may have gone to school for something and they're doing well. And to them, they're already set. So they don't really, they don't really need to, well, this is good. I'll serve God. And they always want to talk about the Lord. Jake gives the Most High so much lip service, man. It's nauseating, man, because you see the way that their actions don't add up with the amount of mention of the Most High that they make. But every Jake is righteous. They in the scriptures. But the second you tell them, hey, you women, you got to cover up, they get an attitude, The second you tell them, yeah, well, this is Babylon after all, isn't it? They'll get offended as though, that's not the case, or that's too much. Yeah, I'm trying to serve the Lord, but not like that. You see, because they want to be in that. They think that they could be in the world and still be a God-fearing person, but it doesn't work like that. Either you depart from this world and turn your back to it and serve the Lord in truth and sincerity, or you be destroyed. There's no in between. There's no half stepping. There's no, like a woman. Sometimes you be in a relationship with them, they'll be like, oh, well, I want to take a break and da da da. The Lord don't deal with no taking a break. Either you all the way in it with him or you all the way out. Ultimately, most of them are going to be all the way out and be destroyed because they think that they could play the fence, or they want to play the field because America gives them better options in their mind, than a place beyond this. I've had women straight up say they don't want to see the end. So you don't want to see the Lord return. So what does that say about you? You're a Satanist. You just don't realize it, but you're serving Satan. Okay, because you're an anti-Messiah. You're what they call an antichrist, right? Because the people think there's going to be one antichrist. Antichrist is a spirit. That means anybody that's against the Messiah. All right, and his real name is Yahweh Shai. So anybody that's against Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, and he is when he came on the earth, he had the appearance of a so-called black man. He had woolly hair. He had dark skin. All right. But the point being that, they don't want to acknowledge that this place is wicked and it needs to be destroyed. That's the only solution. That's the beautiful thing about this truth. The Lord opened our eyes to see that the only true solution is for America to be obliterated, man. And, we're going to be persecuted for this message. But ultimately, what argument can they give against us? You see, even these regular Joe Schmo people know that the industries of America are destroying the planet. These other companies deforesting down in South America, all right, deforestation, polluting the earth, putting species to extinction, waging endless wars. You see, but when you're over here living the Babylonian life and getting those benefits, all right, you get your little Starbucks latte and you think that's life. You think that's all there is. You don't care about the blood that's being shed overseas to get that. Eventually it's going to come back to bite you. And, even before I was in this truth, I already knew America had its reckoning day because I was always into like history and things like that. And, I was getting to them conspiracies, 9/11 and things like that. I already knew and saw certain things, but I just didn't have the whole picture of prophecy, being in the truth. I already saw, it wasn't hard to tell that, yeah, America's going to have its day. And these people over here living it up, thinking that shit is sweet. The empire, when the day that this empire falls, man, it's going to be a global earth shattering event, literally. Now, even before that, I'm talking about when Jacob's trouble hits, it's going to be earth shattering to the inhabitants of the earth because, Hellenization, global Hellenization has occurred. So all of these nations, whether they know it or not, in one way, shape, or form, they're following that American way. Okay. And they're eating. That's why it says that the merchants, they're going to mourn because, yeah, they'll get mad about America, the wars that America does. But when it comes to them being able to get rich, especially the elites of these different countries, you see, they they like that part of it. Yeah, they get mad when America bombs, but these elites of these other nations, they themselves, they don't give a fuck about their own people. So as long as it lines their pockets, they can give a shit. You see? That's why they're going to be mourning when that time comes. All right, because the party's going to be over. And hey, it says the meek shall inherit the earth. It's talking about Israel, But even when you deal with these other nations and the lands that they're going to be in, the elites that are over there that are oppressing their own people, the people over there are going to overthrow them. Because once the charade is up, once the jig is up, the jig is up. All right. And those that were in cahoots with Babylon, once these nations, the people of these nations see how the Lord judged this whore and all these different corrupt politicians that was in bed with Babylon, became billionaires, the people of these nations, they're going to overrun these nations. I think it already happened. It might have been Sri Lanka, one of these countries where they pretty much just overran and took over the government and ousted all their politicians. So if that's already happening now, how much more in the day when the Lord returns and casts that judgment upon this whore? All right, but back in Jeremiah 51 and 37, it says, and Babylon shall become heaps, right? Meaning what? Ruins, okay? A dwelling place for dragons and astonishment and hissing without an inhabitant, right? Basically, a dwelling place for dragons dealing with those desert creatures, and just basically a shock and awe, the shock and awe of this place being wiped out. All right, they shall roar together like lions, they shall yell as lions whelps. In their heat I will make their feast, and I will make them drunken. And that reminds me of just a turn up summertime spirit of America, because when the scripture is saying that basically when they're at their height of their turn up and they're just living that life, they're drunk off that wine, the Lord's giving them these feasts. And that's how hey, this may be the last summer of turn ups for Babylon, man. Maybe the last Pride Month. Imagine that. No more Pride Month. No more none of these wicked ass holidays and festivals and filth we got to deal with, man. All right. You can't even go to the health food store. They got different idols and Buddha and Hare Krishna and different, Buddhist and Elamite gods and Hindu gods and bullshit. I'm just trying to get it's a damn organic milkshake. And you got to see all this, the gods of these nations. But Esau uses that to try to find a level playing field with the people. Esau will adopt these nations' God. That's what he did with the Serapeum. It was Ptolemy the first Soter that I don't know if he was the exact one. I don't remember if he was the exact one to set up the Serapeum. But basically, they allowed all the gods of the Egyptians and they melded it with the Greek gods, and they just basically made it a big idolatrous gumbo. And that's what he does with all these other gods here, man. That's why this is the land of many idols. All right. You see these Edomites, especially these Edomite women in these health food shops, they'll have dreadlocks, which that goes to show you it goes back to Elam, which, goes back to those Hindu bullshit gods that they got. And they'll be talking about the Buddha and the this and the that, and they'll have quotes from the Bhagavad Gita or whatever. And, a bunch of confusion. And that's another way that America is Babylon, because it's a land of many gods and a different confusion. But it says, in their heat I will make their feast, and I will make them drunken that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith Yahweh. Right. So that's when they're at the height of that drunkenness and that foolishness. That's when the Lord is going to cast that judgment upon them. That's a good precept the brother put. See, I had a lot of heat, but see, I'm gonna grab this one. GMS Howard Shai Nah. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise. Right, there's a visitation. Just like that Hajj pilgrimage, you had 1,300, probably more by now. I would imagine it's probably up in the thousands, multiple thousands that died in that pilgrimage, which Lord's will I could get into a lesson on, the origins of Islam. But pretty much, those Ishmaelites, they had about a god for every day of the year. When you look into the history, you could look that up in the book Babylon to Timbuktu. All right. I think the author's name is Ralph Windsor. But yeah, you look into that book, they had all these different gods. That's why you got the moon and the crescent, because they worship the host of heaven. All right. They worship the moon. They worship these different things, So yeah, that's why the Lord judged them, man. They didn't have no shadow by day. You know, Allah, Allah is just a Hebrew word that means power or judge, but that's not the Most High's name. All right. And the Kaaba stone, which is the idol that they're really going over there to worship, yeah, the Lord wiped them out, man. All right. The Lord wiped them out. Okay. And that's just a taste of the judgment that's coming to you people. So back in Jeremiah 51 and 39 and 30 and 40, it says, I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he goats, right? And that connects to Isaiah 32. Okay. How is Shishak taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? Right, because all of these nations, they look at America as the pinnacle. You know, they want to be American. They want to come to America. They want to learn English. You know, the Chinese, they got different, YouTube and social media pages dedicated to learning English, and not just learning it like speaking it and sounding like a Moabite, sounding like an American. You see? But it says, how is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Right? Because there's people right now that still don't believe that America can ever be taken down. And when you look at the amount of firepower that America has in the military, it still is the top military on earth. That's the only thing that's holding up the petrodollar. All right. But when that day comes, man, they're going to be astonished. All right. It's going to be, and that's all to the glorification of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, because it has to seem like insurmountable odds. It has to seem like America's, you like America can't be dethroned. That's what it has to look like, even though, us of the house of faith, we could see, the writing on the wall. We could see, everything being set up because the Lord gave us the vision, the prophecies. But, to these everyday people, that's why they're so easily able to attach themselves to America, because people be having a 30-year plan, a 40-year plan. Well, my children are going to go to college. They're going to learn my business, and it's family business. And it's like, they can't see that this place is really on its last few seconds. This place could be over with by the end of this year, man, with this election. But what's happening with the people? They're getting lulled to sleep. Summertime, the vibes, chilling, living it up. And what's going to happen? That election is going to hit these people like a ton of bricks, man. So it says, the sea has come upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof, which is pretty much, that's another symbolic way of describing the destruction. All right. There is going to be tsunamis as well from from those missiles. But, just showing that this place is going to be utterly wasted, Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth. Neither doth any son of man pass thereby. Right. So that's showing when that destruction comes, this place is going to be a desert. Nobody will live here. And I will punish Bel in Babylon. Right. All right. Baal, Balenciaga. That's another example, right? The wicked idols of America. And I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up, and the nation shall not. Right. You're going to vomit up everything that you got. All right. And the nation shall not, you ain't gonna be able to hold it down in your belly and your stomach. It says, and the nation shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. See, and walls represent what? Protection. All right. Yeah, so you know what? We'll just go ahead and close it out right there. I'm gonna grab a couple more from the comments. Let's see. Yeah, worthy freedom. This brother put Luke 17 and 32. Remember Lot's wife, right? What did Lot's wife do? She looked back, you know, she looked back. She looked back on the life that she had. She didn't want to give it up. You see, but that's where the faith comes in, because we know that there's something greater a life far beyond a real actual life, man. We don't gotta sneak around to be men. You know, you ain't gotta lower the bass in your voice, you know, to be a man. People are just gonna have to accept us as we are, which is gonna be the perfection of Yahweh Shem Shai. They're gonna have no choice. And they're gonna be forced because the power is gonna be with us. All right. But just seeing the power alone and seeing how the Lord delivered us, they're gonna be compelled to bow to Yahweh Shem Shai and praise his name. All right. And if they don't, we already know what's gonna happen. That's where the rod of iron comes in. That's severe and rigorous rule. All right. Let's see. This is good right here. Psalms 30. This is the GMS Howard Shai Nawa. Nah. And I'll close out with this. Psalms 37 and 13. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Yeah, your day is coming. The day of reckoning of America, Babylon the Great, which can't be soon enough, man. All right. They getting ready, you know, they're gonna cut the internet soon. Things are about to get real dicey, man. And they just letting these people get their last little turn up in. Lord's will, this summer is really the last one. You know, these people just Americans do the same cycle of bullshit every year, and it's like they're so delusional that they're able to find new ways to make. But really, the majority of these people are all miserable, man. All right, you know, we're miserable here because we hate this place, but they're miserable because the illusion that they believe in and the place that they love is slowly unraveling. And really it's just a mundane life here, man. There ain't really shit to do out here. It's all lame. Even if you have money, what are you gonna do, man? You're gonna go to the shooting range or some shit. Go get a helicopter. You look at these rich guys that got a ton of money, man. After a while, they become depressed because there's no real substance behind all of it. All the women that they deal with are whores. All their children end up getting turned out and turned into weirdos. It's just a filthy place, man. And there's no sense of tranquility. There's no peace here, man. That's why the one moment where you get off, where you get away into nature, is like it's a breath of fresh air, man. That's why it's good to do that from time to time, and just get away from it all, because this place is so damn filthy, man. But even these people, man, that act like they love this shit, I have certain women I talk to, they've got big social media followings, and you talk to them, and they be like, yeah, I know I'm out there smiling and doing it, but really deep down, I'm fucking depressed. You see? She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Type of bitch, because, they live in a vain life, man. There's a void because the Lord is missing. See, us, we have our times, and yeah, we hate it here, but overall, we're in pretty good spirits, considering all the circumstances, and we're rejoicing. No, we have our ups and downs, of course, but overall, we're happy and rejoicing because we know that this place is almost over with, and we have the Lord with us. So, even though we go through trials, hey, man, to be known of Yahweh Shem Shai, to have the name, to serve the Lord is all the joy that we need, all right, to get through this wicked ass kingdom. All right, but the Lord is laughing at you here. He's laughing through us. All right. Psalms 37 and 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Right. So that's why they want to destroy us, man. And they're going to look at us as the problem, the Hebrew Israelites, man. All right. That's what they're going to look at. You got a lot of agents and weirdos out there, man, and they're going to try to set us up with false flags and different stuff in order to blame us. All right. Because they don't like the message that we're saying and we're exposing their wickedness. A whore, the scripture says that too. A whore always envies an upright woman, a virgin, because the whore envies and is jealous of the purity of the virgin. And the scriptures liken the Lord's elect unto a virgin, a chaste woman. All right. So yeah, these people, they hate us because they ain't us, man. All right. They hate us because they see the purity of Yahweh Shem Shai that's with us. Even though we're in these filthy bodies, compared to these people in this world, man, yeah, the Lord has us in an upright state of mind. He has us an upright conversation. All right. Psalms 37:15. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. There you have it. All right. So hey, the sword shall enter into their own heart. Yeah, then the Lord put it on them to make the missile. Aren't they gonna fall on their own sword, man? That reminds me of hey man, if you watch Game of Thrones or you into the House of Dragon, then I might spoil it a little right now, so you might want to, click it off till you watch it or whatever. But I'm gonna say that the last episode you had that, spoiler alert. All right, don't get mad if I spoil something because I gave you fair warning. But you had the scene with these two knights that were twins, and they end up killing each other. They end up fighting to the well. One of them killed the other one, and he was so depressed and fucked up off the fact that he killed his brother that he fell on his own sword. And that remind not just doing this lesson the Lord put in my mind. That's like how Esau's kingdom's gonna go out. He's gonna destroy himself. And earlier in the episode, he said, "Yeah, we're the same soul in two different flesh, something like that. One soul and two flesh, two fleshes, right? So that's like America, Babylon the Great, and the other Edomite nations. They're gonna destroy themselves, man. You know, they're gonna destroy themselves, man. And that's how it's always been with Esau. When you look back into the Greeks, Daniel 11 is all about the Syrian wars, which is wars that was fought between the Seleucid dynasty and the Ptolemaic dynasty. So those were both Edomites. They were all fighting, and what were they mainly fighting over? They were fighting over Coel Syria, which what was in Coel Syria at that time? Judah, the Jews. All right, the Israelite, the remnants of the nation of Israel that was in the land. Right back then, it was called Coel Syria. All right, they were fighting over that land. Primarily because with that land, you get access to Egypt, you get access to a lot of trade goes through there. That's the easiest way to get to pass through. All right. And then you get the access to the Mediterranean as well. All right. So they were always battling it out over that land. Okay. But Esau, they would always be betraying each other, setting each other up, setting this one up, disagreeing on shit. Just being the greedy devil that he is, man. You know, So this man's kingdom is done. All right, Babylon the Great is about to be a heap of ruins. Lord's will, Lord's will that comes soon, man. ASAP. Quick and in a hurry. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Call Harlot Yamla Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakudash. Hey, Shalom until the next one. All right. Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakudash, Brakathum. Hey, Lord's will. I'll catch you on the next one. Shalom.